everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Kayla Rundle, if you do not know who I am. Today I have a fun modification for my Civic. It's a 2017 Honda Civic EX-L. It's the hatchback, 5-door. My current stock headlights are completely faded and they look horrible compared to Type R's and many other aftermarket headlights that I see. I have not seen what these guys look like, but I did grab a set of headlights from Ultimate Motorsports. This is upside down. They carry a lot of different Civic modifications, aesthetics, and parts. So I was surfing the website and came across this, and they sent this out to me, so I'm really excited to see what these are gonna look like. Let's get this thing opened up. Here. Matches my car. Oh my gosh, he left me a note. Said, hey Kayla, we're so excited to get featured on your build. I love the purple and I think you're gonna really love how these headlights will transform your front end. I can't wait to see what you cook up with the content. Thank you for the support of my small biz and for trusting us for your sick build. P.S. I threw in some of our side markers, Justin, for you in case you wanted to try them. No way! Okay, now we have to see the side markers. Ooh. We might just have to install these. I do already have aftermarket side markers, which I love, and I've been lazy to not wire in the sequential part, but we shall see. And of course, he included some stickers in it. These are so beautiful. Oh my goodness. Look at these guys. Well, thank you so much, Justin from Ultimate Motorsports for sending me these headlights. I'm super excited. Probably in the future, I'll have more modifications that I will be installing from Ultimate Motorsports. So guys, if you have a Honda Civic, go be sure to check out Ultimate Motorsports. They are the best and super communicative. So hopefully this install's not too hard. Let's get going on it. If you guys are curious, these are called the BMW style headlights on their website. It's actually one of the more inexpensive headlights out of all the options, and yet they are my favorite. They have a sequential turn signal right here on the side of the headlight, and the bulbs are halogen. And it is a full plug and play install, as you can see here on the back. So it's super easy to install. You don't have to splice any wires or do anything electrical if you guys are not confident in doing that. The hardest part of this process is taking off the bumper, but it's just a bunch of screws and bolts. And remember, if you guys are not confident in installing headlights, for safety reasons, please consult a professional for the installation. Otherwise, you guys can be like me and try to install them yourself. You do have to pop your hood. If you guys don't know how to do this, it is very simple. Right inside here on your left side, and you just have to pull it out. And then there'll be a little latch that you will be able to feel, kind of middle to the left, move it to the right, and the whole hood will rise. This is a little support stick that luckily comes on the Civics, and you can just put it right in this hole where the arrow is to support your hood up so we can work on it without hitting our head. So our first course of action is that we need to remove this plastic piece along with all the trim piece around the headlight to be able to remove the bumper, to be able to remove the headlight. There's a couple ways to do this. You can get a trim tool that are just a couple dollars at your local auto parts store, or you can use an at-home tool called a flathead screwdriver. And I simply just take the flathead and go to the center of the clips, and you only pop out the center piece, which will basically close the lock to pop out all the tabs around the bumper. So let's just quickly go through all of those. Just pop out the center, and then just grab it by hand, and it easily comes out for you. And here are all the tabs. And for these flat tabs, I like to just push the tool underneath the little rubber and pop them out with my trim removal tool. Flathead's tough on these because I tend to break them with the flathead. So 2 different tools works better for 2 different clips. And this is what these guys look like. Little flatheads. Much easier to remove with the trim removal tool. Just squeeze it underneath the flathead and pop them straight up. Now this whole thing should come right off along with this rubber piece. Now we have to go inside our wheel well, and there should be 2 screws right underneath the inside of this side marker on your bumper. We're just removing that because that is connected to your inner fender liner. 2 screws, just use a screwdriver. And repeat for the other side. Once you remove the side screws for your fender liner and your bumper connection, we are going to move to the underside of your front bumper. There are a series of the same clips that you removed from the top. They spread all across the underside of the bumper. There is also 2 10mm bolts on both outside edges of the underside of your bumper, and make sure to remove those as well. When I was underneath the car, I also found like a hex key screw connecting my bumper, and it fit a H5 size. So just for reference, anything that's holding the bumper underneath the car, you'll be able to tell because you can pull off the front fascia part, and if anything's connected, there'll be some screws and some tabs. Just remove all of those so then we are able to remove the bumper. After you remove all of these type of screws, now we have to work on the top side, and for this I recommend a flathead that's kind of long so it can reach. This like black plastic piece right here, it's connected in these tiny holes. You'll see one here and one here. There is a little tab that you simply just have to put a flathead down into and push down, and it'll just pop straight out once you do that. Oh, got that tab. Ew, there's bugs! And now just do like a once-over check on all 4 corners of the bumper to make sure you removed all of the screws and tabs, because this is kind of the scary part. When I first removed my bumper, it just felt wrong in a sense, but you basically just have to tug the bumper directly away from where it is connected, and you do have to tug kind of hard. The first time I took mine off, mine actually was even glued, and you just kind of have to rip it all off. So don't be afraid to be aggressive. I'm gonna try to hold it up with my foot kind of in the center so it doesn't smack the ground. Well, she's off. Ugh. Some bugs were having like a popcorn party in my bumper or something. I use my tiny vacuum to save my life so I don't have to touch any bugs. And look at them in there. Ew. I'm barehanded and I don't want to touch them with my bare hand. No bugs. Mini vacuum works well. If you guys don't ever like have an instruction manual to go off of, the best way to figure out how to properly remove these is just compare your new piece to your old piece. So like my first thought, which was wrong, was to remove these screws, but these screws are on here, so that means we don't have to remove them because it's not holding up the headlight. So I believe it's this piece and this piece on the top of the headlight. I think those are just 10mm bolts up there and up there to attach the headlight. And then it looks like there are like 3 screws on this bottom side and on the edge piece that we are going to have to remove and access, which is just over here attached to your chassis. And you might have to remove that plastic piece, but it's pretty simple if you guys just look at it and figure out what you need to install. Don't be scared. If you uninstall something, you can always put it back. All right, yeah, I guess you could have done this in reverse order, but I undid my headlight just because I like being able to move it when I do unplug it. So obviously your headlight is connected to make everything glow at night because it is using power from your battery. There should be at least 3 or 4 switches. If you don't know, I guess you can look at your new one, which in this case, the new one does have 4 connections here. So that means there's going to be at least 4 connections that we have to take off on your stock headlight. And you can access this all behind. And typically for these connections, you just kind of have to press down on this middle part and then it should disconnect itself. Because it's basically just a clip, so once you squeeze it, it'll just disconnect. Now I do need 2 hands for this. Just press and pull, that one was easy, it was exactly what I just described. Okay, we have another connection, same deal, it just has a clip right here. You press that down and the whole thing should just disconnect. Easy peasy, these ones are easy on us. I disconnected all 4, and of course in all the videos I'm going to tell you guys problems. So all 4 connections I disconnected, but it is still stuck to the car. So I found out, you can see like these little zip ties from factory, like the factory wiring harness is connected to like this section of the headlight housing. Wow, you didn't have to cut the zip ties. It has like a little slide-on piece, so don't cut the zip ties. You can just straight slide them off. Sweet. Now that is our factory headlights fully removed. Remove these. Now your guys' headlights might not look like mine, but previously I did have the Last Fit Auto LED light bulbs to make my factory lights super bright, and I did love these. My headlights are so bright, which is very nice. But now all the connections are completely off. I'm just gonna go grab my little Fantic vacuum, clean up this area, and wipe it down with all-purpose cleaner because I like that. Now that I cleaned up the whole area after removing my stock headlights, now it is time to put on the new ones. I actually might have to remove the lower plastic piece off of my stock headlights since this plastic piece on the stock headlights did not come with the new ones. I say we can quickly remove this one. All right, I just tried to pop off the tabs and I just broke one and realized that there's 2 10mm bolts on the underside that we have to undo once you get this headlights off. So undo these and then you can undo the tabs to pop it off. And it popped off very easily, actually. Okay, I'm gonna take the new headlights and reinstall the bracket, and I'm just using the same exact bolts that were on the other bracket, and I'm just reversing the process. Now your bracket is on the new headlights. Now we can install the headlights. So we are given 4 connections, and I believe they are all different sizes, so it should be relatively easy to find the matchups. Oh, it's gonna look so good. Now you just want to reverse the process from earlier and reinstall all 4 10mm bolts around the headlight to reattach it to the car. So remember, there's one on the side, there are 2 bolts on the top to attach the headlight, and the last one is just hidden on the underside facing the back of the car. I swear this headlight has way better fitment than stock. My other headlight had like a huge gap right here, and this one is like super tight against my bumper. It looks great. I'm really curious to see how this My front bumper is gonna line up underneath the headlight because my other headlight had like severe gaps. So I'm actually really impressed that this fits so perfect, because sometimes aftermarket parts can kind of fit weird and wonky. Obviously every single car is a little bit different from each other, but this is perfect fitment. So I'm actually very impressed. If you guys don't take your bumper all the way off the car, because I have connected underglow on my bumper, that's why I haven't pulled my bumper all the way away from my vehicle, just be sure that this does not scratch the lens of your brand new headlights. Woo! Other stock headlight is out! I'm gonna quickly clean up this area as well. Oh no, I left you recording. I was on my phone making story posts. If you guys don't follow me on Instagram, go follow me at Kayla Rundle. I always have like day of updates on my Instagram channel, or Instagram, not channel. Guys, go give me a follow. And again, we're just reversing the process of taking the bracket that was on your stock headlights, installing it on our new ones. It's nice, these have like little tabs, so like you could just simply place it on by hand and it won't budge. So if those little tabs don't line up, you know it's in the wrong place. We don't want to install this upside down so it's not going with the curvature of the headlights. Make sure to get the little tabs lined up. And if it doesn't really move, then you know it's in the right place for these bolts to go back on. Okay, I don't know if this was dumb, but to make this fit, put this outside edge into the car first, and then it'll fit perfect instead of trying to shove it in straight. And then connect the 4 connections just like the other side. And they're each different sizes, so it'll be very easy to be able to match them up. Since I'm under the car, I am able to access my fog light bulbs. And I actually have a video probably a couple years back of me installing the Laminex fog light tint cover on my fog lights, and I also removed the entire bezel for the fog lights and replaced them because my stock ones did shatter. And since then they have not shattered because it does have the protective like clear bra that's tinted on it. When I installed all my new last fit auto lighting on the Civic, I wasn't able to access my fog lights because I would have to slightly remove things off the bumper, and at the time I was just lazy. Since I still have the last fit auto fog lights, I am going to swap them out and install them right now. Now, before you do this, do make sure that the lights have been off for a while because it will burn your hands. I just accidentally burned my legs because I forgot they were just on. But to install them is very easy once you're able to access it. It's just a simple plug that you pull out, and there's a stock bulb for you. Compared to the new one from Last Fit Auto, and this is a sequential unit, so that's why it has the box as well, since it's an LED. So it absorbs the power so your car will not throw any codes. And all you have to do is simply plug it in. Now this metal box, it will get hot, so it has this little area on the top to be able to screw it to a metal surface so it can distribute the heat evenly. So make sure this isn't touching any plastic on your car because it could possibly melt it depending on how hot it gets and how much you use this light. This light itself does have like a little fan in it that does cool down the light, but it still will draw the power into this box and make it hot. And it's easy plug-in. All you have to do is plug it in, and I'm going to screw this to some point. I just haven't figured out where yet, but before I screw it in somewhere, I'm going to make sure the lights work just like we did with our headlights. Now, before we put the whole bumper back on, worst case scenario, let's say they don't work. Maybe our connections will be flipped, 180 degrees. If a light doesn't work, something will be flipped 180 degrees. So then you just have to double check to make sure the headlights work before you put on your bumper to save a lot of pain and suffering. So I have my keys and we'll see if they work. Let's see, I'm just gonna press the unlock button. Yay, the sequentials work. on both sides. They are sequentialing, that's for sure. And for fitment on this, I realized this line right here, the way it pulls it in is with this bolt right here. So you can adjust this bolt as you would like if you want this looser or tighter based off of the fitment of these headlights. So if they aren't perfect, you just have to manipulate the bolts that hold the headlight and then it'll fit perfect into your bumper. Oh yes, they are working. Oh, these look so great. Oh my goodness. Okay, the bulbs are working, those are working, the turn signals are working. Beautiful, and it all works. That was first try. I don't think I have ever gotten lights to work on the first try like this, honestly. I've never also had headlights be this easy to figure out which way the plugs go. I learned for the plugs, there's like 2 little notches on one side of the plug, same as the factory other plug-ins that you have to plug it into. So you just match up the notches, and that's how you know you are not plugging it in 180 degrees the wrong way. Woo, we are to that point of seeing the final results of these headlights, so it is time to put on the bumper, and this bumper goes back on the car exactly on how we took it off. So you basically just have to hold it up and press in all the tabs, and it'll kind of secure itself by itself without doing the bolts until we get to the bolts. You don't want to forget the bolts. Doing this by yourself is the toughest part. And now this side, the trick is to take these tabs and tuck them in there. And everything kind of just secures itself. Don't forget to put these tabs in this black piece back as well. Slide it forward. Sweet. Looks so good. Start with these clips, and in my case I had 1 screw. I think you guys should have 2 screws. It is a 10mm bolt, and we're gonna put these all on the underside of the car because the underside is the hardest. So do the underside that you can't access as easily first, so it's easier to adjust the bolts on the top end of the bumper. And as we're attaching the bumper, I just put all the push tabs and the 10mm on the underside of the bumper. Don't forget these little screws that go right on the inside of your fender liner, just like how we took them off when we started. After you put all the screws back underneath the car to reattach your bumper, don't forget the rubber piece that you took off in the very beginning and align up the holes. The plastic piece lays on top of that. Don't forget that these flat guys, these go on the edges to attach the rubber piece to your new headlights. 3 on the right side and 3 on the left side. And then you have these tabs that attach your plastic piece. That completes the install. But overall, this is definitely beginner level installation process. It is very, very easy. The hardest part is removing the bumper, but then again, that is only a few bolts and clips, mostly clips. Thankfully, these headlights were a plug-and-play setup. It is just 4 plugs on each headlight, so it is very easy. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave any comments or questions down below. Even if you guys see this video a couple years later, I still respond to very old videos. I'm happy to help you guys out. And I also want to thank Ultimate Motorsports for sending me out these headlights, and I'm very, very excited to go show these off on the street and drive around and see how bright they are compared to the halogen lights. And also, if you guys want to go cop a pair of these headlights for yourself, I will put down their link in the description down below, possibly with a discount code as well. So go check that out in the description. I hope you guys enjoy this video. I hope you all have an amazing day or night, whatever time it is, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.